All right, I'm back. How you guys doing? You guys doing good? I made some fucked up. I made some silly shenanigans that I needed to make sure that needed to not occur. So. But we're back. Hello. Blame BB channel. BB Dubai. BB Dubai messing up my, getting quirked up on the turntable. I have totally, I definitely need to, fuck. I don't know how to sync it. Man, I wish I know how to sync it, dude. Becomes active. Scene 2 will also become active. Link scene 2 and leave it later. Man. Alright, we fixed it. We're good to go. We can read it now. Oh, what the hell? Locked me. Why did it log me out? That's frustrating. Good morning there. Zep here. How are you doing today? Welcome to the Famitu article. We had a oopsie poopsie. But now we're back at it again at translation land here. Hope you are ready from what I am. Can we finally get this moving? Thank you guys. Today we're gonna be reading Mr. 2. We're gonna be live translating Mr. 2 shenanigans. I hope you guys are ready for that. I'm gonna have to copy and paste everything I did on that into here without creating any more problems. Can you guys see? I hope you guys can see. So we got the VIP Bandom Namiko interview, which is pretty cool. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is almost out. They're talking about all the cool characters, cross review. They're putting all the easy stuff up front. Toxic Commando, Order GP 2026, God of War, Sparta's Offspring. All right, here we go, chat. Here comes the 11th Annie Translato. That's going to happen very soon. Frost Rain. Nice little indie. Little militaristic plus choices. Guilty Gear. Oh, there we go. So we've got the 11th anniversary, the journey we had so far, survey, season 2 award, NPC, Kano Yoshiki, and Mr. 2. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do Kano Yoshiki interview. So here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Salutations. I hope you guys are ready. Welcome to the 11th anniversary Famitsu interview. If you guys don't know, we read this Famitsu article every year, every time at your convenience, right when it comes out digitally. So, we finally is here. Hopefully you guys made it to 11th year. Hope you guys are enjoying FGO still. Now, let us look through, right? So warning for anybody that is an NA or anybody else that hasn't played FGO JP. You will see Omega spoilers, and I mean spoilers. So just be careful. So let's get this started. So we got ourselves a little bit of a memento, a little memories of the 11th year, busting out the Summer Olga summer event, the beautiful Noah, the beautiful Gensai, Kondo Isao, Elizabeth Bathory. You got your Lord Logless, and then finishing the Grand Order, busting out Holmes, busting out BB. And then we got ourselves the beginning of the Aftertime. And then we got ourselves the little funny, comfy floral event. After Valentine event, looking at mom's. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh. Where's the toolbars for this shit? Oh, there we go. Okay, look at the mom raider difference between EX 16 and 19. Blackbeard has 45. But yeah, so it's essentially Aftertime Valentine required you to finish the event. So it's very wholesome. We got ourselves the four brothers, who was the murderer, shenanigans. Got to take pictures with cryptors. Fate Strange Fake, which was awesome. Got to see John Lackland and Francesca Praelati. Yeah, we got ourselves the silly past event that we just went through, past Katodea. And then finally, but lastly, but surely, we got the Demeter's Welcome to Carudenia, where we got to have a cute Grey Tan with Grey Tan Lily or Grey Tan Lancer. And then, oh, this is kind of like visual art on the every Lost Bell. That's kind of cool. I like that. The Freeze End, the Post Ragnarok, the the quote unquote Happy Ever After, the Loop Revolution. Oh. Then you got your Over Utopia. Then you got your Morgan's Merry Bad End. Invoided Genesis. Then all the cosmic pillars, and then their seeds. That's pretty cool. Or Tree of Emptiness. Yeah, the Tree of Emptiness and their seeds. We got some surveys. Currently, FGO is 35% people in their 30s, 37%, 37.3% in their 30s, 35.8% in their 20s, 11.2% in their teens. There's 13% in their 40s, and then 2.7% in their 80s. So 23% of master level has been 200. So that's the majority, which is good. Most of the people are surveyed is female. There are still there are still people that had 16% started from beginning of the game. Around season 2-ish, people are still kicking. And then there's about 2% people that started from this year. There's about 81% of people that finished all the way to the latest story. That's pretty lit. Anybody that's kind of answering this survey most of the time finishes because they're, they're OGs and lit. The most impressionable limited event, that is going to be Snowfield. They were Pogger at it. The next one is Mahotsukai no Yoru. Then the Guda Guda. Revenge of the Makoto, then Seraph, then the Lacritum Wings, Tears of Lacritum Wings, Karadeyu Summer Island, Summer Festival 1, Summer Festival 2. It's funny because Summer Festival 1 was more impressionable than 2 by 2 votes. The Disappearance of Nobu's Head, and then BB Presents Summer Experience. The very servant that they all wanted was you, Olga, Lord Logless, Uruzu, John Lackland, into Asuka Lapos. And then you got Gensai, Richard the First, Indra, Pylades, and then Typhon. Who do you think is going to be the next swimsuit servant? You got Muramasa, you got Takasugi, Muramasa, Takasugi, Indra, Taikobo, Dante Alighieri, Arthur Pendragon, James Moriarty, Ruler, Jason, Enkidu, Ojima Dias. Female, right? Female top 10 was Lilith, Koyanskaya of the Light, Penny Emba, Archetype Earth, Aoko, Johanna, Typhon, Kukuruka, Medusa, Ryder, and Cersei. So there might be a chance that there might be a Koyanskaya of the Light, chat. There might be a chance. Right now, タイムーン観戦にして登場キャラでサブンとして FGO にしたらどうかな。So they want Toko, right? If they want a Type Moon related character, Toko is the one. Shiki is next. Caster from Fate Strange Fake. Dumas, right? Dumas. Then you got Mato Shinji, Frato Escardos, you know, Ayaka, Sajo Ayaka, Gilgamesh Prototype, Sajo Monica, Toga Akatsuki, Akiha, right? Akiha, if you don't know who Akiha is, very pogger. Archer from Samurai Remnant. Yeah, who was Archer from Samurai Remnant? Oh, the Chinese servant. Yeah. Who was your grand servant? No Kohaku? No Kohaku. Not in this one. Kohaku did not make it to top 10 this year. Artoria Saber is the Saber Grand. Gilgamesh is the Archer. Lancer's Melisin. Oh. Rider is Ojima Diaz. Caster is Tonerico. Assassin is Gensai. Berserker is Artoria Caster. Berserker. Extra class was MASH, and extra class was Yu Olga Murray. Obviously. Yeah, it was definitely gonna be MASH, CL, Oberon, Yu Olga Murray. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, my friends? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the follow, Big Preach. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We do have the Curie Light right now. Who used the quote-unquote re-roll? Who used the reroll on the Grand Servant? 55% used it at least once, and then there are percentages that are people that used it multiple times. He wanted to take a picture to whatchamacallit, Shiki Moon Cancer swimsuit. But when Grand, he did it in a wrong he did it in the wrong variant. So he did the Assassin Grand instead of a Moon Cancer Grand. And so he used it to swap it. He did it for both. so he swapped it. スキルレベルと、ボンドレベルの問題がございまして、どっちの服を選ぶか迷った。グランド戦で有利に回って変更したり、後から気に入ったサーバント登場変更。この場面でサーバントをグランドにして戦いたいという思い。So a lot of people that used 5 grand rerolls and whatnot used it for screenshots, simultaneously farming, simultaneously wanting to fight certain servants, certain grand servants in grand scenarios. Understandable. How many bond servants are there? People that answered 0 bond 15 servants, or 70%, which is very high. The highest amount over 50 is 0.2. People roughly, the highest is 5 to 7 is about 14.6. So there are still people that have not bond 15 just yet. There's a lot of people that haven't bond 15. They probably are just like just on the cusp of 15 and then whatchamacallit, changing it before it hits 15, because technically 15 was the cap. What other functions would you like to have in FGO? 10 ticket, 10 summoning. A lot of people specifically wrote 10 ticket, 10 summoning because it is now officially here. It says max leveling your skill by utilizing all the materials that you currently have in one go. So max skill leveling at one button. I think that's pretty good. Oh. Rebattling in the story. Replay of the story battle with special animation. So replay story battle with special animation. It's even a story にもどうかスキルをください。あとセリフを欲しい。一応終わる前に。It says, what is steal? I don't know what steal is. FGO のダイブのストーリーにもどうかスチルをください。I don't know what steal is. But they specifically says he wants Bond 10. Yeah, he wants Bond 10 special voice lines. Before FGO officially ends, would like a light novel version. Noble Phantasm background music on and off. Due to the fact that we sometimes the music is louder than the story boss. They want auto battle on their farming. Go ahead and pick up those. They want 5-star craft and pickup. It can just be exclusive to story summon. Make more grand servants extra class a lot more detailed, so they can, you know, grand servant more extra class. Able to rerun the farming quest without reselecting your friends. One word to describe FGO going 11th year and over. It says, let's make it a happy ending. Service do not end. Go as far as you can. Congratulations on your 11th year. I've started FGO during my high school/college. One says college, one says high school. Give everybody in the Shinsengumi swimsuit. I'm waiting for you, buddy. I love FGO. Because of FGO Festival, because of this game, I'm going to more trips and tour in order to go to their holy grounds of servants. Please take responsibility. And we're supporting you to the very end. Do your very best. It says you're not getting away with this until you Bust out my Oshi. I love Kiyohime. After time have officially started, I'm excited for the mysterious and the unexpected, story once again. Where are we gonna meet next? It says, yeah, I would like the FGO to last longer, but Kinoko and the other writers, please make sure you guys are healthy and stay safe. I'm not asking arcade, but can we make servants move in 3D somewhere somehow? There's gonna be 12th year, right? Our next goal is 20th year. When is fake prototype collab? Love. Let us see our Avengers again. Yeah, we're gonna be running to the end until the grand finale. Let's more Charlemagne's 12th Nights on top of Roundtable Nights. Excited. It says whoever suggested social game in Fate series needs to get praise. So you got your season 2 award. The most impressionable main story, main interlude was Abalon Le Fay, the final chapter in Archetype Inception. The song was Abalon Le Fay's, Oberon's, Vortigern's, Midnight Summer Dream. And the word that impressed BB. This is semi-spoilers for those of you who are playing BB Dubai, because this is a part 3 wording, so I'm not going to say too much, but BB does say a very impressionable and lasting word. The most story utility servant was Masquerade, Nemo, and Artoria. True. The story's best character within the story was Protag and Gorda. The best NPC that left impression was Pachi, Kamasoso, and Tepe. It's true. Like, Patsy did a number of impression to a lot of people because that reignited Protag and started season 2. So a lot of NA people might not have the appreciation for Patsy for sure, but a lot of JP people give Patsy a very impact. That same goes with Kamasoso and Tepe. The most toughest enemy was Cercenos, with ORT in the next. The most impressionable CG event. The most impressionable CG event that occurred in the game was Oberon falling to Nirvana. The map that left the most impression was Naui Micthoron LB7. And the noble phantasm that pierced people's heart was Rayproof Kirielaito, right? The Blade of Humanity, which you guys will learn very soon. The most impressionable grand battle was Solomon, due to the fact that we got Logless out of nowhere. The Tree of Emptiness that they wanted to farm more during the final battle was M Spectrum, because they had a lot of good OG mats from back then. Plus, I think it had swimsuit shells and whatnot. The most impressionable song / TV commercial that has left your story was the season 1. Because now that you finished season 2, season 1 song hits harder than a fucking B2 bomber. The most impressionable limited event CM theme and vocal was the Echoes by Tears of Lacrinum, which you guys will have very soon next year. The BGM that left the most impression at the very end was the instrumental version of the season 2 part 1 Gyakko. True, because it was the final battle BGM. Here are the new NPC characters. This is Omega spoiler. I am warning you, do be careful. Omega spoilers incoming. A lot of NPC characters. Damn, they even put Madame Dubois? Bruh. That's pretty lit. That's a nice little detail to bust out Madame Dubois. And the gold deceased one. I like that. It's actually really I'm glad that they didn't forget about that. You got your Doe and Ravens, the Fen Boys that mashes VA like. Dude, we're waiting for Bakudan Jill. We're hoping. We're hoping for her to come. One day, chat, one day. Oh. Here we got Ate, Alexander Dupel. We're waiting for that. One day we'll get him, one day. One day we'll get these anonymous servants soon, chat. Mimizuku. But that concludes all the surveys and kind of like the quick rankings. From here on out, I'm going to have a next video for Kano Yoshiki interview. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace. All right. You guys ready for this interview? Yeah, I'm going to have to do director Kano Yoshiki interview and then translate it. By the way, this is going to be Omega spoilers, okay? This is going to be super spoilers. This is going to talk about end of FGO all the way to the very end. So I am warning you right now. I'm going to say this warning again after after recording starts, so be careful, okay? Avenger Boudica when? One day we'll get Boudica. The goal's 20th? Well, no, that's if you don't know, that's all the people that are asking, right? If you could say one word towards FGO, what they wanted to say. Some people say that's the next, the next goal should be 20th Annie. All right, got my coffee ready. Oh, I want my masked lady assassin. Dude, we want everybody. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kano Yoshiki interview Famitu Translation in 2026, August 5th. The 11th anniversary Kano Yoshiki translation interview. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys talk among yourself in chat. And if you got any questions, make sure you write down in the comments below and I'll do my very best to answer them. Other than that, this will be a Kano Yoshiki interview translation. I will be translating everything and then I will be, I won't be telling my own opinion until the very end, okay? So without further ado, let us start. Shall we? The Sigma. There we go. All right. A clear blue sky that was able to be seen after the immense pressure was released. That's the title. It says, if you guys don't know, there's going to be the interviewer and Mr. 2 speaking. So I hope you guys are ready. 去年のインタビューで家でこっそり泣くんだと思いますとおっしゃっていましたのが、実際にダイブの終章以降、特にゼロ部と保証していないすべては終章を遊んでエンディングを迎えられた時のお気持ちをお聞かせてください。So the interviewer specifically asked, last year's interview, you specifically said you were going to cry in your house, secretly, is what you've stated. But tell me what happened, right? Tell me what happened after you finished your season 2 finale chapter. Tell me your feelings at the end of the game, right? At end of season 2, the Lost Cosmos and the Lost Belt. Mr. 2 specifically replies, 難しい気持ちでした。正直すごく複雑で、実際家では泣かなかったんですよ。というのも開発あるあるなんですが、会社でテストプレイをした段階でいち早く泣いてしまっていて、実際された頃にはもう何度か泣いた後なんですよ。で、実際に私が自分の達成で終章をクリアしたのは12月31日でした。So it says the feelings that I had was complex, you know. What happened? Oh, did I not put the yeah, because it's a new stream. True. I do apologize. Thank you, Kick Support. I did it. Thank you. Big preach. I did it. You gotta keep reminding me. Glad you keep reminding me. I fixed that problem real quick. But yeah, the feelings is very difficult. Honestly, it was very complex. To be perfectly honest with you, in actuality, I actually didn't cry at home. It's what happens, right? It's when you are developing. It's kind of a thing that happens when you're a developer and developing these types of video games. Is that during test play, I was definitely the earliest to cry out during test play. The time that it's officially released to the public, I've already cried several times. So, however, however, I officially finished my story at December 31st. So, like, Mr. 2 specifically said, hey, before it even became official, since I developed it, since we got there before anybody else, we cried already, but and I did finish it at December 31st, right? Finish the final chapter that Mr. 2 has specifically said. Let's see. シナリオが開放されてすぐプレイしたわけではないのですね。何か特別な思いはあったのでしょうか? So it says so the director specifically said he finished the final chapter at December 31st, not when it was available, right? It says you didn't play right when the scenario was unlocked. Oh, I see. It says, was there like a special meeting, or was there a special gimmick, or was there a reasoning why you did that? これで2部が終わっちゃうなと思うと気持ち的にはなかなか進められなくて、でも12月31日23時59分の話も知ってしまいますし、マルスベリーがも言ってたじゃないですか。やっぱり12月31日が私の中でも頂点になる日だなと思って、そこまでプレイできずに引っ張ってしまったんですが、いや、さすがにこの日にはもうやらないと決心してクリアしました。その後すごく印象に残っているんですが、青空が本当に青空として感じられたんです。青空が本当に青空と感じて。Alright, so if you don't know, Mr. 2 specifically, he says it right here, right? The question is, why did you not play it when it was unlocked? Do you have special feelings for it, right? And Mr. 2 specifically says, man, feeling, right? Feeling of season 2 is going to end after all this. I hesitated for a day or two that I couldn't move forward. But after December 31st, people would know the story after December 31st, 11:59 p.m. story if I were not to continue with them. And Marusberi specifically said this certain things. Marusberi also said the term as well, that December 31st is going to be very memorable. So in the end, I decided to go and accomplish, aka finish the story at December 31st. And that day, to me as well, felt very memorable and is going to be etched permanently in my life. Until then, I hesitated myself from moving forward from that specific story chapter, but I knew that at December 31st, I had to go through with it. And I've settled myself and I've decided to finish the final chapter at that specific day and cleared it. And the most impressionable thing that left to me was when I looked at the blue sky, I really felt that I was looking at the blue sky. And so the interviewer asked, what do you mean by you were able to see the blue sky and that blue sky was a real blue sky, you know? And so Mr. 2 specifically answers, この気持ちはゲーム開発者としている人なら少し分かってもらえると思うのですが、昔のパッケージソフトでしかなかった当時ってガーッと作ってマスターアップしたらもう変えようがない状態でリリースするわけですよ。リリースして終わったお疲れと帰るのですが、割と早い日の時間にマスターアップが終わった日には会社を出た時によく青空を見上げていました。ああ、終わったなっていう気持ちで、終章クリア後の12月31日はあの感情を久しぶりに味わえました。少なくとも FGO に関わってからは青空を青空として感じたことは一度もなかったと思います。Oh, damn. Okay. So, Mr. 2 specifically explains that he felt the blue sky as a real blue sky. He specifically says, if you are a game developer, this feelings can be sympathetic or you can understand it. Or anybody that's developing something or finished a large project. Back in the day, whenever you've got the package soft, right? 昔のパッケージソフトしか出なかったエラーでは So it's essentially whenever there was the quote-unquote era where CDs and package software was a thing, right? Where it's just kind of you make it, it's master up and ready to go. Like there was no update to fix things. So back in the day when there was no patches, just master game and cartridge and go. During those days, once we all finished and then master upped it, aka the final touches to give the final copy to mass produce, there was no way for us to update and had to release it in any situation it was left. After the release, everybody would say, yeah, good job guys, well done. Good job guys, well done. And everybody goes home. And sometimes there are days when we master up, aka finish up, right? On the days of we are early to finish up, I would go out the company door and stare at the blue sky and says, man, I've accomplished something awesome. That was the feeling you had. And for a very long time, it has been quite a while, but when I finished the final chapter, and that feeling, that feeling of accomplishment was felt once more when I finished the final chapter on December 31st. In FGO, at least, I didn't feel the blue sky as blue sky until then. So 少なくとも FGO に関わってからは青空を青空として感じたことは一度もなかったと思います。So Mr. 2 specifically stating that he never felt so accomplished, right? So like he felt accomplished and felt good whenever he finishes like previous work and whatnot, he would look at the blue sky up in the air and kind of felt accomplished. So until he finished the final chapter, he never really felt that big accomplishment in FGO until the final chapter. But he must have been pressured quite a lot. ずっと終わりの見えなかったものが締め切りついたようなものですね。So the interviewer asked, it's almost as if the end that you couldn't see for a very long time, finally you were able to close a chapter on it, correct? And then Mr. Tu answered, そうです。しかも第2部とで言うと8年間ですから見えない圧度がどんどん背中に積み上がっていたのですよね。それがそっとなくなった状態で12月30日で久しぶりの青空やわという感情がずっと覚えています。あんな気持ちを抱えたのは何年ぶりだと思いました。Mr. 2 specifically answers here. He says, that's right. On top of all of this, it took 8 years to finish season 2. The invisible pressure that was slowly but surely burdening all of us on our backs was compiled bit by bit, and it was getting very heavy. But the moment that December 31st arrived and I finished the story as well as everybody else, at least for me, I finally was able to feel that blue sky in a while. And that emotion I can remember even now. And having this feeling was having this feeling of relaxation, or at least relief, to me, it has been quite the years since I felt this sensation. So essentially, Mr. 2 specifically stated that because season 2 is taking 8 years, the pressure and the constant responsibilities on his shoulders and his back was getting very heavy and very problematic, right? Like very pressured to get this done. But when he finished his final chapter, when he finished his things, when he finished the story officially, he felt relief, he felt a weight lifted off his back, and he was relaxed, right? Like very comfortable. 第2部が始まって以降、8年間は終わったという感覚を味わうことなく走り続けたのですね。So the interviewer specifically asked, ever since season 2 started, until the 8 years of quote-unquote finished, you've never felt, you were constantly running and you were never able to feel finished/accomplished until now. So yeah, Mr. 2 specifically stated that he felt relieved after season 2 was done, right? Like after season 2 was done, he felt relief at December 31st. He felt all the pressure off his shoulders. And if you have not seen the anniversary, go check out it. I don't know if I have the video out. I should have the video out. Yeah, Mr. 2 looks bling. He dripped out of his mind. He felt comfortable. He felt like he was enjoying himself. So yeah, he specifically says, the interviewer says, until the 8th year, right, you were able to finally feel relieved. But you were running continuously for 8 years plus. 正直1秒たりとも休みはなかったのですから、会社からもタイムーンさんからでもいつも何時電話来るかわからない24時間受付状態でした。でも終わったと思えたのも実は1日だけなんでした。元日にはロードログレスのピックアップもがありましたので、そうだったのですね。31日には X 東京で加納さんがいたという目撃情報がたくさん上がってましてね、あれはですね、お正月にはロードログレスに実装されて、そこに関する対応もあって、会社に行かなかったんですよ。でも会社へ行く前に、やっぱちょっと東京駅に行きたいなと思いまして、ふと寄ったんですよ。で、ラストのアニメーションを合わせて同じカットの写真を撮っていたのです。そして最後に看板の前には行こうとしたら、近くの男性がはっと気づいたので、こちらを向いた。That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so spoiler alert. This blue scene is kind of a spoiler to the ending. But Mr. 2 specifically states, Mr. 2 specifically states, to be honest with you, I never had a second of break or a relief of tension while working. Due to the fact that I would have calls from the company and Mr. Type Moons, we didn't know when, where, how. We were all in 24-hour reception mode. However, fun fact, the feeling of everything ended, quote unquote, everything ended, only actually lasted about maybe a day at best. After all, we had Lord Logless pickup on New Year's. So Mr. 2 felt relieved because apparently he was in 24-hour reception call from both Type Moon and Lysengal for anything and everything. So there was about less than 24 hours of where Mr. 2 felt that he was free from that burden, quote unquote, to an extent. But however, he still had to go back to work because Lord Logless pickup and they needed to make sure everything went well. The interviewer specifically said, "Oh, I see. In December 31st, I saw on X, aka Twitter, it says there's Mr. 2 in Tokyo Station." And that post blew up like wildfire and it was all over. Then Mr. 2 specifically answers, "あれはですね、正直にはロードログレスが実装されるので、そこに関する対応もあって会社に行かなきゃいけなかったんですよ。でも会社へ行く前にちょっと東京駅に行きたいなと思いまして、ふるっと寄ったのですよね。で、ラストのアニメーションに合わせて同じカットの写真を写っていたのです。そして最後に看板の前に行こうとしたら、近くの男性がはっと気づいてからこちらを向いて、it says that's correct. However, during New Year's, we had Lord Logless coming in, so I needed to go to work. Yeah, I needed to go to work in order to deal with anything that happens with the pickup rate and etc. But before I went to work, I definitely had myself the feeling of I wanted to visit the Tokyo station just one more time before going to work. And I kind of did out of whim. And I wanted to take a picture of the last animation and the last final cut. I wanted to, have the same familiar picture to kind of post it as a fun time. But the moment I was about to go and went to the last prompt where FGO was, a male nearby looked twice and looked back at me and specifically noticed I am and took a picture. And then the interviewer says, "Wow, it's almost like the last scene of the ending." And then Mr. 2 specifically answers, "That's quite correct. 本当にゲーム内の主人公とマシみたいな感じでしたね." 向こう側もずっと驚いてました。It says, yeah, it's almost as if that one scene from that ending. Mr. 2 specifically says that's right. It really did felt like an in-game meeting MASH and Protag. It says the other side was quite excited and surprised as well. And the interviewer asks, it says, that's quite obvious. The fact that they would able to see you of all people in that certain location at that certain times. I don't think nobody has predicted that. その場でありがとうございましたと直接感謝を伝えられました。私もユーザーも一人としてよかったねと話していたのですが、途中で私の方からせっかくなので写真でも撮りますと写真を撮る流れになったんですよ。そしたら加納さんちょっと待ってください、友達呼んできますと言って遠くに走っていかれて、少しとしたらコミケ帰りとおぼしき軍団がわーっとやってきまして、ちょっとした写真大会の例ができちゃったんですよ。笑いでその写真大会が終わって東京駅から離れた時に思い出してしまったんです。看板写真撮ってないじゃんってバレないようにこっそり戻って撮ったのですが、もう結構暗くなってしまっていて、まあそれもいいなと思い出かなと忘れられない12月31日になりました。So it says that Mr. 2 specifically answers, at the very place we both said thank you very much. And he, the fan, the user, said, "Thank you very much for all you've done," and was praised and appreciated very directly. Me as a user, we conversated together about how amazing, how amazing the very end of the story was. And I suggested, this person specifically says, "Now that we're here, would you like a picture?" Would you like a picture and whatnot? The moment I asked and suggest that, that's where all the taking picture flow came into play. The moment I've asked, the user person specifically added, "Mr. 2, aka Mr. Kano, please wait a moment. I'm bringing my friends over." And he ran off as far as he could, and then just a moments later, he brought all of his friends and the gang. Brought all of his friends in the gang that was coming from Comiket, right? Coming home from Comiket, and there were so many more people. He came back with a crowd essentially, and then a little bit of a photo booth tournament of sort, quote unquote, kind of occurred. The interviewer puts parentheses laugh, kind of laughing it while he's explaining. It says, however, when the photo booth tournament or photo session has ended, when I left the Tokyo station, the moment I left the Tokyo station, the thought process came back to my mind. I was so distracted, I said, "Oh, I forgot to take a picture of the the station, right? The AKA he didn't take any picture of the sign, right? The signs of the stations and whatnot." And so he went back without anybody noticing after work. It got a little dark out, but to me, I think it was perfectly fine. It was a great memory that I had, and this will be the December 31st that I'll probably never forget. And then the interviewer specifically asked, 2部が終わって片書も開発ディレクターに変わりましたね。It says, now that the season 2 officially ended, your designated title has become from not director of season 2, but a developer director, dev director, correct? そうなんですよ。あれもいろいろと相談した結果なのですが、竹内さんが第2部も無事に完成できましたし、もう第2部って言わなくてもいいとも思いますと言ってくださって、第2部の限定が取れて公式にディレクターとして認めてくださるまでに8年かかりました。笑い。ただ正直今でも慣れないですね。これだけ FGO グランドオーダー第2部開発ディレクターのと挨拶し続けたので、つい口に出ちゃうんですよ。最近でもリハーサルの時に何度か言ってしまうこともあります。So it says, now that you're now you're the lead director, right? Quote unquote, the dev director of FGO instead of season 2. Mr. 2 answers that is quite correct. This was a result of many different conversations and conferences, but Mr. Takeuchi specifically said that now that season 2 has completed safely, he specifically said, I don't think there's a reason for you to say season 2 or part 2, right? Part 2 director any longer. And it's funny because it took me 8 years. Yeah, it took me 8 years for me to become an official director from limited season, part 2 director. Lol, right? He's joking, right? He's like bantering, joking about it. Says it took me 8 years to become from a temporarily, quote unquote, temporarily director of part 2 into official director. He's just joking. However, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not used to that title even to this day. Due to the fact that I've been kept saying I am the part 2 development director of Fate Grand Order as my intro for so many times, even during the recent rehearsals. It slips out naturally because I've been saying it for so long. 名前を変換するときに今までのニュアンスを残して新章開発ディレクターみたいな形にはしなかったんですか？いろいろと案はあったのですが、3じゃないよな。3じゃないよなという話はしましたよね。 三女神編ではあるけど第3部ではないというのがタイムーンさんとの共通認識としてあったので、第2部が終わった後の最後の時間というのはある意味でエクストラ、おまけみたいな感覚もある。なのでいろいろな意味を込めて第2部を取ろうということになりました。もし第3部がついていたら受付側もまだあるのか、あと8年続くんじゃないかと身を備えちゃうそうですね。さらに倍の期待になって16年かかるんじゃないかみたいなことに笑い。でも FGO の関節によってそういう有能なところがあるんですよ。皆さんが知らないところでどんなスケジュールやマイルストーンが変わっていますから。タイムーンさんの発想やユーザーさんへの反応を見ながら、ここでこれを入れたら面白いんじゃない？じゃあスケジュールを後にずらしてみたいな。So he specifically says during the name changes, didn't you want to add like a nuance that you had of instead of putting it as a official FGO director of development? Why not write the director of the development of the new chapter of sort? That's what the interviewer asks, you know? He specifically says, well, Mr. 2 answers, there was a lot of prompts and there was a lot of ideas to this. But we all came to the understanding that it was not 3. We weren't going to be Mr. 3. Because we are currently in the arc/chapter of 3, the Goddesses of Fate arc, but technically it's not the 3rd season. That's what me and Mr. Type Moons came to an understanding and an acknowledgement to. Because after all, this is like an aftermath. This is like an extra. This is like an add-on feeling of after season 2 is finished. It's utilizing the last minute, or in this case, second that we utilizes after season 2 is over. But we've discussed many different nuances, and we wanted to make sure that the season 2 part gets removed. That is definitely the consensus and the conclusion that we came up to. The interviewer specifically says, if there is a 3rd season, or aka part 3, I think the receivers will be quote unquote replying with, there's gonna be 8 more years of this at least, and then they would prepare themselves with excitement, don't they? Laugh, right? Mr. 2 answers with, well, they might be anticipating more and more, and so they might joke around and might say this might be twice as much, right? Twice as much as last arc, so it might take 16 years to finish. Lol, right? And they're joking around. But when it comes to FGO and moving it forward, that's the cool thing about that we have. While everybody doesn't know, in the back room, there are scheduling and milestones are changing practically day by day, monthly by monthly. There were Mr. Type Moon's thought process where they would look at the user's results on everywhere and see, maybe we should add things here and there. Maybe we should add, fun things there. Or maybe if that's the case, we should move the schedule behind and etc. etc. It says that great example, right? 去年の触々の鐘のレードスペースファンタズムムーンアナザークリスマスの執行の中にこのコンファンタこのコンファンタ Okay, so it's gonna be called コンファンタで似たような話をしていましたね。It says last year in the Confanta, aka the Space Phantasm Moon Christmas Raid, you specifically stated something like that as well. 上翼の鐘か、あれ でもそれ入れるならスケジュールどうしようかなみたいなことがありましたね。あんな感じでどんどん変わっていく現場なんです。It says, yeah, the quote unquote, the bell raid, the bell raid of the midnight. Well, that, like, we can add this, and how would the schedule be? And that is kind of the mood and the setup that we try to do. And our locations and our plans changes on that spot here and there. 週3回で Hold up. Hold up. Give me a second, chat. I gotta make sure that this is not a DMCA music. I hope this is not a DMCA music. Because this is completely new from here. 週3回で竹内氏の元へカルデアスの内部の殺到した日々。抽象全体を通していくと特に印象に残ったもの現場面はありますか？本当に難しい質問で一人のプレイヤーとしては選べないというのが正直なところです。よいて告げるならシオンとネモのシーンですね。シオン自身がカルデアに行く先を分かった上でロストベルトナンバー0に飛び込んできてくれた結果、この世界を出られないということに、自分が犠牲になってでも人類のためにという覚悟と自分の自己犠牲、しかもそんな彼女のもとにソフとネモが寄り合う張り合うというものがもう感動的で、あのシーンについてはもう開発中から泣いてましたね。ラフのステップ段階から実装してテストプレイをしたんですが、絵がアップデートされて良くなっていくたびに泣いていました。やばかったですね。もう一つつけるとオルガマリーのやらかしランキング大好きでした。このタイミングでそれしかも全部言ってくれないんだという感じがオルガマリーだなと。彼女もまたとてつもないなく長い間人類のために頑張ってくれたんだと、あそこであのやりとりを出せるお茶目な感じと優しさを感動しました。どちらもグッとくるシーンでしたね。あとこれも大きなネタバレになってしまうんですけども、デイビッドが微笑んでくれるシーンも印象的でしたね。逆説問的に記憶にした5分間は何があろうと残り続けるというくだりにはシナリオテキストにもいただいたとからと声が出ましたね。こいつここに繋がるんだ、ナッさんすごいと。So it says, completing the final chapters, what was your most impressionable thing that you had? Anything that made you wonder? Mr. 2, aka Mr. Kano, specifically says that is a really difficult question. As a single player, I can't choose I can't choose specifics. But if I were to choose, I would pick the Shion and the Nemo scene. So by the way, guys, this is gonna be major spoilers from FGO final chapters. So if you want to mute it for about like 10 minutes, it'd be greatly appreciated. You have been warned. Okay. It says because Shion invited herself into Karudia, and because she jumped in to Lost Belt number 0, as a result, people were not able to get out from this world specifically. And in order to self-sacrifice themselves, in order for the sake of humanity, that determination and self-sacrifice that she's shown on screen was very impressionable. But at the same time, after all that is done, you would see Nemo by her side to the very end. That was a very memorable scene. So memorable that it was amazing. That scene, I was crying I was crying during developing this entire ordeal. even from the rough stage all the way through the playtesting time, we were in tears. The moment the picture update were to be implemented and we got to see the whole picture, we have teared up once more, and it was very it was very yabai, right? It was very strong. If I were to add one more, it was definitely the Olga Murray quote-unquote whatchamacallit, the scratch up ranking, or the oopsie rankings, you know? And then the fact that she was able to say these things at this timing, and the fact that she wouldn't say all of it was very Olga Murray like, and it was very it was very wholesome to see, because she too was for a very long time fighting for the sake of humanity all along. And the fact that she was able to conversate with us like that, it felt very very kind side of her, and her goofy her own personality. And then Mr. Two and then the interviewer specifically asked it says these scenes that you speak of definitely was very impressionable. And then Mr. Two specifically says this is going to be a large spoiler. So yeah, by the way, it's going to be a major spoiler again, so be careful, right? It says, but the smile that David gave us was a very impressionable scene as well. The quote-unquote back in the day that you've learned that he can only figure out and have 5 minutes in memory interval, but that memory, no matter what, lives on. That scenario text, and go in utilizing that concept to that very end in that very moment, I exclamated like a girl, saying, oh my goodness, all of that concept connects to this moment. I can't believe Mr. Nasu would pull this off like that. But Mr. Two was impressed, aka Mr. Kano was impressed of what Nasu was able to provide. And so now the interviewer asked, as a developer and the person that's running the FGO's point of view, how did it go, right? So we heard it from the user's perspective. The interviewer is asking it as a dev and the person that were running FGO's concept. カルデアの世界がロストベルトゼロであることを指定した瞬間ですね。あれを受け止めたユーザーはどう思うのか、作っている側としてのが不安がかなり多かったです。実際読んだ時にはかなり衝撃を受けた覚えがあります。スマートフォンを取り落としそうになりましたね。正直に言うと、プロットでいただいた時の印象はもっときつかったですね。確かちょうど実家から東京に戻る新幹線の中で読んだかな。那須さんからすごいチャットが来たぞと消灯されたファイルを開いてみたら、うおーっと移動中なのにとんでもない爆弾が。プロットとシナリオの原作を最初に受けるときには、私は一ユーザーの視点で受け止めてしまうので、これはかなりショックな展開だぞと考えてしまいましたね。でもそこから演出を作っていく中で、ある意味少し柔らかくなったというか、決して受け取りやすいものではないのですが、最初のイメージより受け止められる形に調整されていった印象です。とはいえ、実際の時も非常に心配したですね。So yeah, this is gonna be Mr. Two's perspective when it comes to developing, right? The interviewer specifically asked, as a developer and the person that's running FGO, what was the most impressionable thing that did it during season, final chapter? Mr. Two specifically asked that the world of Karudea was Lost Belt Zero. That moment was the very, the shocking factor. It says how the first impression was, how would the user take that into momentum? And as a person who's going to create this narrative, and as a storytelling, it was very uncomfortable because the burden was quite large. By the way, a major spoiler, right? This is gonna be major spoiler to until like the last 2 pages. Yeah. It says the interviewer specifically stated, 実際読んだ時はかなり衝撃を受けた覚えがあります。スマートフォンを取り落としそうになりました。So it says in actuality, the moment that dropped, the information was dropped was so dramatic that I too almost dropped my smartphone. 正直に言うと、プロットでいただいた時には、so Mr. not Nasu, Mr. Kano answers, it says, to be perfectly honest with you, the moment I got the plot line and the story that we needed to make, the impression of what were supposed to do was a lot more gruesome. After all, the information that we've learned it is when I remember I was taking a quick break and going to my parents' house, right? Going to parents' house, riding the Shinkansen, which is the very fast train, back to Tokyo. I had read that in the middle of our travel. There was a group chat that specifically said Nasu dropped a crazy file. And then when I opened the file that the group chat suggested, all I could say was, wow. It says, yeah, while the interviewer stated, while traveling back, a tremendous bomb was dropped on you, wasn't it? プロットやシナリオ原作を最初に置くときには一応ユーザーを受けてしまうので It's, yeah, when I've received a plot line or a scenario origin, at the very first receiving it, I would always look at it in the user's perspective as a user myself. So the first impression was, this moment, this sequence will be quite the shock to the audience, and it would be the presence of So. でも、そこから it says, however, we needed to make sure that it functions and railed the story, right? The story rail to its conclusion. And we needed to make sure that we drew better. We needed to make sure that it showcased, right, picture better. But we needed to make sure it matched. And to be perfectly honest with you, comparing to the original, right? Comparing to the original. Give me a second, chat. Something is lagging. I don't know why. Let's see if I can do it. It is a funny if it can work out. It says, yeah. From the visuals and while we were making it, we were able to alleviate the shock factor while keeping it shock factor more understandable and light. Lighter than the initial essentially he's explaining it as ある意味で少し柔らかくなったというか、it says, compared to the initial impression, they did alleviate it a little more, but it was still a shocking factor. They made it sure that it was very shock factor, but at the same time, they made sure that it wasn't like abruptly ended. So it says, yeah, compared to the first image and the first suggestions that was given to us, we've made sure that we adjusted it and shaped it and molded to be more understandable and easier to process. However, when it became officially live and available to the player audience, I was irregularly worried. Worried. Period. So interviewer specifically stated, even Mr. Takeuchi specifically stated, 優しい終わり方になってよかったとおっしゃいました。I says, yeah, the interviewer said, even Mr. Takeuchi stated that I'm glad that it ended on a very comfortable note, right? Very comfy, very kind note, is what he stated. ラストのシーンが全てを許してくれたなという印象もありましたね。動画を作る際に動画を作る程度のラフに見えたラフで見えていたので、ここにつながるならなんとかなるかなと思う反面、レード戦を積んだりする関係上とどうしても期間が空いてしまうので、この間ユーザーさんには相当落ち込むだろうなと、早く結末へつなげてあげたいという思いもつつ、やっぱりあのレードは重要でした。あのレードは重要ですからね。Yeah, so specifically stating that definitely the last scene definitely forgave a lot of things, was definitely impressionable for me. While creating that last scene visuals, we've seen it in the rough drafts and the rough making, saying that as long as it connects to this moment, I think we can get away with it. Or kind of, as long as we can connect, ここにつながるならなんとかなるかな. It says, as long as we can tie into this visual ending, we might be able to pull it off, was kind of the feeling. And we know for the fact that during the raid battle, 挟んだり関係してもどうしても期間が空いてしまうので, it says, no matter during the raid battle, no matter what we decided, there was going to be a mere moment of a gap space where we knew for a fact that the user base is going to be super depressed about it. But while we wanted to connect it to the conclusion, but the raid was very important. But that specific raid was super important for everybody in general to have. 自分たちでカウントをゼロにしていく。終わらせるための戦いですもんね。It says, and then the interviewer specifically states, it was a raid battle. It was a necessity battle that the user base had to make the count to zero themselves. It was a battle to end everything after all. Mr. 2 specifically states, last but not least, Solomon's Noble Phantasm scene in the final battle. There's definitely impressionable scenes that I cannot countlessly, keep talking about, but those two are the last one that I would like to say. But yeah, those three that I had to say it for certain. Speaking of Solomon's, ソロモンの宝具というと、第2部の PB と同じ語りをするシーンですが、実はあのシーン、タイプーンさんからこうしてほしいという映像のつもみががっつりと届いたのです。こちらで組み合わせたものと対して途中から指示があったので、スクリプト班がそれに合わせて組み直すことになりました。開発側としては自分たちで期待を終えられるものもお出ししたかったという悔しさもありましたが、出来上がった最後のシーンはこれぞタイプーンという演出でしたね。絵のカット割りやエフェクトの付け方、カメラワーク、むしろ動画では再現できないゲームならではの感情を与えられる独身の演出になっていて本当にすごいなと思いましたよ。 ラストバトルもギリギリで調整を続けたと聞いていましたね。Give me 1 second. Okay. It says, yeah, so during the Solomon Noble Phantasm scene, he stated the same exact thing that he said during the Season 2 promotional video, aka Part 2 promotional video. It says, by the way, that specifically scene, Mr. Type Moon specifically stated that they want it this way and had the visuals. Visuals and lineup set up for us, and that was in detail. Uh, こちらで組み上げたものに対して、こちらで組み上げた対して途中から指示があったので、スクリプト班がそれに合わせて、So yeah, it says we had our own concept and our own, it says yeah, while we were making it halfway through, we had the instruction by Mr. Type Moon to have an exact order made. So the script team had to adjust and move accordingly and fix what was necessary. As a developer side, we were a little bit on the regretful side that we weren't able to showcase what we wanted to employ. We wanted to employ in order for the user base to be happy about. However, in the end, at the very end, the scene specifically that we've created together was definitely a Type Moon scenery. It was a very emotional. The picture cuts and the effects that gets added during the time and the camera works, it was something that was not able to showcase just by visually. It was something that we were able to perform because we were a video game, and even in that video game, emotion were able to be given to. It was a unique animation video that portrayed that moment exactly so, and I and the team felt incredible the way it came out. Felt incredible the way it came out. Last battle もギリギリまで調整を続けたと聞いています。The interviewer asked, I heard that even the last battle, you guys were adjusting everything to the very end. やりましたね。週に3回はこちらからメンバーを連れてタイプムーンさんのところへ行き、帰ってきというのを繰り返していました。シナリオが上がる前からラスボスバトルのイメージを那須さんに口頭で少し聞いて、それを竹内さんと協議し、素材を想像して組み上げてみては、いや、こうじゃないね、もう少しこうしようかとブラッシュアップとかしてきましたね。となると、那須さんと直接にやり取りをしたわけじゃないと。その頃、那須さんはまだ筆記中だったんですよ。なので、段側的なワードやヒントをいただいて、そこから那須さんの意思はこういうことだよねという確認をすり合わせながら、完成形に近づいていく必要がありました。初期のバージョンではやりたい演出をたくさん詰め込みすぎて、異常にテンポが悪くなってしまったので、私がテストプレイした時には1時間近くかかっていた気がします。結果的にラストバトルはとてもいい潮目になっていたと思いますが、どうやって調整していったのでしょうか。削ったものもあるのですが、メインには圧縮ですね。見せたい演出はやっぱり見せたいよねというところで那須さんと話し合いながらプレイを 妨害しないように演出をオーバーラップさせて、それぞれをちゃんと見えるような状態でグッと。終章はマップの変化も印象的でしたが、こちらについてはいかがでしょうか。なんならマップが一番苦手でしたかもしれません。那須さんに上がったところまでシナリオを通記いただいて確認したながら素材を作っていきましたから。いただいたシナリオを読みながらどう絵が必要かを考えていくのですから。考えていくのですが、それがまた大変で、文面から想像するとこういうんじゃないかと私が思っても、他のメンバーや竹内さんで解釈が分かれることがあるんですよ。白紙地球なんかが2回出てきたぞ。冬季に行ったけどまだ戻ってきて、あれ今俺どこだとシナリオ文章からではマップ最後を分析する難しい図難易度が高い状況でした。最終的に那須さんとコンタクトが取れるようになるまで竹内さんとの会議で想像しながら解析と総合を繰り返していました。So essentially, it says here, the last battle, I heard the last battle, you guys were adjusting things to the very last moment. Is this true? Mr. Kano answers, we did. Every week, at least 2 or 3 times, we would bring our own members and bring it to the Type Moon staff and go home and go back. We constantly had that flip-flop for multiple weeks. Multiple times in a week. It says, シナリオが上がる前からラスボスのイメージを那須さんに口を少しもらい、it says, before the official scenario came up to us, we made sure that we got some rough draft of the final battle from Mr. Nasu, and then from his wordings here and there that we were able to get from him, we would listen to it and we would argue and debate it with Mr. Takeuchi, and we would come up with materials and drafts and imaginations and brush up on it, saying things like, maybe it's not like this, maybe we should, add this to this, and created this final chapter. となると、ナスさんと直接やり取りをしたわけではないのですね。So the interviewer asked, if that what you said were true, you really didn't contact or worked with Mr. Nasu directly. Did you? It says Mr. Kano asked, during this entire time, Mr. Nasu was still drawing up the final draft for the story. And so during those time, we would hear broken words and hints from him, and broken words and hints from him that he wanted to do, and then from there, we would go within our own imaginations and say, what would Mr. Nasu would think of, and started direction from there. While that's happening, we needed to make sure that our thought process and our ideas were aligned to an extent. We needed to do our best to create a perfected or version that was close to his ideal by the end of all of it. To be perfectly honest with you, the very first version that we came up with, we crammed so much animation that we wanted to put. The tempo was terribly horrible. For an example, I test played the first final battle, and it took us entirely an hour to close to an hour, if not more, to even just finish it. So the interviewer specifically asked, at the very end, the last battle felt very good. Very good, and a very good salt beatdown, in my honest feelings. How did you guys adjust specifically in these type of notions? Mr. Kano asked, we shredded / we deleted and omitted a lot of things, but our main focus was definitely compressing it and making sure that it was there, but it wasn't taking the whole thing. After all, we had the incentive of we wanted to showcase the animation, and we wanted the people to feel like they deserve that animation. And so we've talked to Mr. Nasu, and we made sure that it didn't bog up the gameplay, and able to provide the animation while the final battle was able to overlap it. And we did our very best to compress the gameplay and the animation at the same time together to make sure that there was no uncomfortability or overwhelming, and we were compressing it as best as we could. 最終章のマップの変化も印象的でしたが、それについてはいかがでしょうか? So the interviewer asked, in the final chapter, there was a lot of map changes. Can you tell us more about the impression that you had during that? Mr. Kano specifically says, I'm not gonna lie to you, the map was one of the most frustrating things that we had to do. After all, 那須さんに上がったところまでシナリオを順化いただき、確信しながらお伝えしました。いただいたシナリオを読めながらどう映画を必要か考えたのです。それがまた大変。I says during that time, we followed Mr. Nasu's story scripts, and during the scenarios while we were updating it as we were going, confirming it using the materials and the pictures that needed to move forward with the scenario. While we were reading the scenario, we needed to make sure that the picture and the direction that we were heading to was very important, and my goodness, that was one of the roughest things that we had. Because we were interpreting words individualization. And because of this, my thought process and my interpretations were different from the members and the Mr. Takeuchi's interpretations, and there would be splits in ideas. So we would be saying things like, wait, if we were to go like this, we would technically be in the bleached earth. The bleached earth came out twice out of nowhere in a situation like this. We went to Fuyuki, but we went back and we went in, and hey, where are we? And when it comes to the scenario, deciphering it from scenario wording into map modification and moving, right? Like moving it along, deciphering that was one of the most difficult tasks that we had, because we needed to make sure that it was accurate so nobody got lost during the finalization. It says until Mr. Nasu was able to be contacted again once more, it was all about Mr. Takeuchi and the gang having a conversation and discussion while imaging, visualizing, and analyzing and theorizing over and over and over until Mr. Nasu came into play. It says, I do agree. After all, we went to Bleached Earth. After Bleached Earth, we went to Fuyuki. And then after we went back to Fuyuki, we went back inside of Karudeas. We definitely had a multiple map transition here and there, and things definitely was hectic. カルデア内部も大変でした。カルデアス内部も大変でした。カルデアスをぶち抜いて中に移動して、そこが最終決戦のフィールドになることは分かっていたのですが、でもマルスベリーの思考を読むと中は空洞なはずだよな。あれ、カルデアスの内部のマップどうしようと、最終的にカルデアス内部についてかなり書き直すことになりました。空想銃、文明、マリス、それを総合をどうするかすごく会議して決めました。So the interviewer asked, Bleached Earth into Fuyuki, back to reality, into then inside of Karudeas. The map has changed multiple times, so I can understand that difficulty. And then Mr. Kano specifically said, inside of Karudeas was a difficult task as well. Because after going through Karudeas and making sure that we go inside of it and to the core, that was going to be our final field, final battle, final place. But when we come to the conclusion, when we read about it and when we talk about it, Marasberi's thought process, and when we understand his understanding of Carudeus, if we were to go into the center of it all, it should be a void / empty. So what are we going to do about the Carudeus inside map situation? And so with that being said, when it comes to the Carudeus' final map and final creation of sort, there was a lot of rewrites and redraws and re-conversations, and how we were able to put Tree of Emptiness, Culture, Civilization, Maris, all that thing was constantly been on a argument and conference, and we were able to come to that conclusion. ナッさんからどういうワードをいただいたのですが、内部にある文明はぐちゃぐちゃになっている。マルスベリーは無条的だから綺麗に並んでいるわけではなく、適当に押して詰め込められている。So it says, yeah, Mr. Nasu specifically gave you some words to play with in order to make your ideas come in true, correct? What kind of wording did he give you? Mr. Kano answered the inside, right? The inside civilization is chaotic. It's everywhere. It's a mess, right? Marasberi didn't even think about things, and he's not an organized person. He doesn't have OCD. The man literally just pressed a couple of buttons and then inserted the concepts all in there in one go. That's what I've heard from Mr. Nasu. ということは聞いていました。なら破壊されて雑草の風景ではないと。となると今度は文明として認識できる程度に押し込まれている感をどう出すかが難しくて、何度も書き直して想像しながら一つ一つのマップや想像、形像、絶景を作っていくのは本当に大変な作業でした。So, it says, yeah, the Marasberi pressed a couple of buttons and ideas and then just crammed it in there without even thinking of being ordinary OCD or being clean or whatever. It was all chaos. And so that means that that means that if it were to be destroyed or taken care of, it's not supposed to be like a murderous scene or nasty, right? Like it's supposed to be kind of poofed, kind of cleanly gone. So if that is the case, as civilization, like how can you perceive it? How can you see it? How can you describe it without making it neat and organized, yet so specifically thought it out? And for the viewers to understand what we are dealing with and how we can put some emotions of this circumstances of this final battle, we've redrawn multiple times over and over while theorizing and thinking about it and visualizing it. We made sure to make the backgrounds map one by one, and it was quite the hectic hassle of a work. 結果的に素晴らしいマップになっていたと思いますよ。とても不気味でまるで内臓を見たかのような気持ちをします。So the interviewer specifically stated, in actuality, the result was a map that was very wonderful in every step of the way, in my opinion. It was very uncomfortable. It was very distasteful. It's almost as if you were looking inside of an organ, inside of someone's guts. Eerie, yet so unorganized, yet so displayed in visual. It was very creepy. Creepy looking, and I think you guys did a great job. Mr. Kano answered, 実は最初もっと気持ち悪かったんですよね。少しだけマイルドにしました。ビシッと無常十字に押し込まれているように見えて、実は何らかのルールで貼って並んでいるような、そういうマルスベリーらしい感を、マルスベリーらしさを感じていただけたのなら嬉しいです。So it says in actuality, it was a lot more gruesome and more disturbing. However, we mild it down just a little bit. Lol. It was compacted tight and it was compacted tight and forcefully put in a haphazardly, right? But it was but if you stare at it correctly, there was some patterns and rules that he specifically created. We wanted to make sure the personality of Marasberi was there in that creation of the map. And if you could have felt that and understand it, it would be appreciated us development team making it worth the while.那さんが担当された他のシナリオのマップを作っている時も違いましたか？最終マップは構造が分かりやすぎても那須さんが思い描いている空間ではないんだろうなという感じもあって、分かる上で分からないようなものにしてはならず、それでいて空間としては調合性を取らなければいけない。はっきり書くのか書かないのか、そういった部分をバランス取るのがごく難しくて、それは確かに。ただ、少数の全体で見ると、当時に確定したよりはスムーズだった。抽象全体で見ると、頭髪想像していたよりはスムーズだった気がします。大変でしたけど。Give me a second. I'm going to use that. Give me a second, chat. Oh, it's not working. What the Sigma Dio? Bum, 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 bum. I gotta do a thing here. Give me 1 second. I gotta update a lot of things real quick because now I can update it. Alright, we can go to the Mr. Nasu conversation here. Alright. Mr. 2, aka Mr. Kano, specifically stated the following things. It says the final chapters map. We needed to make sure that we know that if we made the concept and the drawing way too easy, it's not going to be the atmosphere or the inside or the picture of what Mr. Nasu would be drawing out in his details specifically. That was definitely the impression we all had while coming up with it. We needed to make sure that we had the impression of understanding the map, but not understanding the map fully. We needed to make sure that we had a nice little balance of the inside of its nothingness, of this void area. And we needed to adjust it in a specific format that's noticeable, but not noticeable. It's this hard line of details within details of knowing and unknowing. and how much we have to draw in detail and how much we take out the detail to add the detail itself was definitely a difficult task, and hook lining that balance was definitely difficult to maintain. The interviewer said, I can definitely see that. But Mr. Kano said, to be perfectly honest, overall the final chapter, if we look back now, it was a lot more smoother than initially thought. Even though it was very difficult. Lol, right? He's laughing it off. And then the interviewer asked, are you sure? Really? It says, yeah, Mr. Kano specifically says, smoothly, it might be an exaggeration, right? Smoothly might be an exaggeration. Smoothly might be an exaggeration or a misuse of the word. To be perfectly honest, みんなが腹が終わっていたというか, it says, yeah, if I were to change that word, to more, yeah, if I were to change that word to more describing of it, it was that everybody was determined and was ready for the hardest task. Because in the end, if there was more work added, we were determined to say, all right, let's do this and create what needed to be done. That's how committed we are in this final chapter. タイムーンさんにもアニプレックスさんにも全員がここが目指してきた場所だという認識のまま、かなり早い段階からちょっとずつ組み上げてきましたからね。ご飯の詰めは大変でしたが、それもどちらかといえば幸せな方の大変さで、ものづくりをする上で前向きに苦労と言いますか、ゴールの絵がどんどん解明になっていくような楽しさがありましたね。So it says, yeah, it says, if I were to say smoothly, it's definitely not the right words. If I were to say everybody were determined, everybody got their gut ready. It says no matter how many additional tasks that were added, we were all going to reply, let's do this, all right, without hesitation. Because after all, this was where Mr. Type Moon and Mr. Aniplex, all of them it was the quote unquote the location. It was the location that we all been reaching for. And so yeah, that understanding came to every single one of us at the very earlier stage of the final chapter creation, and little by little we were making it up to this moment. The last part, right, the last half of the part of cramming everything in was very difficult, but to be perfectly honest with you, it was a happy difficult. And then the interviewer asked, happy? What do you mean by that? Mr. Kano asked, ものづくりをする上で前向きな苦労と言いますか、ゴールの絵がどんどん解明になっていくもので、楽しさがありましたね。ゲーム作の原体験に立ち返るような一本のゲームを作った感じがありました。少し上を見ながら、なんか当時の感情が読み上がってきました。So, Mr. Kano answered, it was a looking forward to the difficult task that was at hand of creating something awesome, right? Because the final picture, the goal was right in front of us, and we were officially walking and running towards it, and the picture was getting clearer and clearer, and it was fun and exciting to feel that notion going forward. It was once again it felt like creating a game. It was creating the game, an original game, one more time. It was almost felt like you were creating its own game at this final moment. Looking up a little bit. Looking up a little bit. He got a little emotional, so he got a little tears, I think. It says he looks up in the ceiling a little bit and says, it seems that a little bit of a emotion at the time came back. でも実際制作中だけじゃなくてリリースしてからも忙しかったなのではないですか。最終レードもありましたしね。そうですね。ちなみにレード中は指示室みたいなものを設置しましたね。大型モニターを数幅用意してエンジニアと一緒にあらゆる数値を見ながら何分経過、何番空想中残り何%みたいなサーバーでも過去最大敵を用意して万全な体制でいさせてもらいました。All right. So it says, the interviewer asked, in the actuality, you were, weren't you still busy, not just during the development? Were you not busy during the main story was happening? After all, there was a raid in the final chapter. And then Mr. Kano stated, yes, that is quite correct. During the raid, we had prepared an entire command room left and right to prepare ourselves. We had a large monitor, large monitors, multiple setup, and had the engineers all together looking at the numbers while it was going down, stating things out loud like X minute has passed, number X tree of emptiness has this much percent left. We prepared for one of the largest servers. We prepared one of the largest servers in order to make sure that this was available. And we made sure that we were all 100% ready for this raid to go smoothly. Yeah, you like that? Whatchamacallit? Do me a favor, Steve. Reset the thumbnail. See if the thumbnail whatchamacallit came back. Hey, you like that thumbnail? It's pretty good, huh? Fucking cooked it like the last 5 minutes. It's pretty lit. Yeah. And a second, I lost my place, y'all. You have to make sure we saved it like that. Okay, so this concludes the FGO final chapter talk. They're going to be talking about 10th Annie Festival's words. They're going to be taking the Grand Servant location and 11th year and onward. I think Cad wants to hear the 11th year onward. All right. At the 10th anniversary FGO Festival, what were those meetings when you said them out loud? So the interviewer asks, at the 10th anniversary, you've specifically stated, at the end of anniversary in the final stage, you specifically stated you want to continue more FGO. Don't you want to continue more FGO? You said it like that as so. Can we get the truth and more detail to those chant that you wanted the audience to answer to? And then Mr. Kano says, あの時は多くのユーザーさんが FGO はこれからどうなるんだろうという気持ちを抱えていたのを知っていましたし、FGO フェスの会場でもなんとなくそういう吹きの気をそういう気分感を感じていました。であれば自分はどうするべきなのか、そういった思いにどう答えればいいのかずっと考えたのです。そういうことを考えたらポロッと口をついて出てしまったのですよ。なぜit says, yeah, なぜこう出ちまった上で 一ユーザーになっているんだ。やっちまった。と自分でも思いましたね。当時はセリフまでは知らないので完全な偶然ですね。いや、でも本当に不要な発言でした。ステージの盛り上がりもすごくて肌が震えるほどの感傷があったので感動してしまって。So this 10th anniversary says, what was the true meaning of your word? In the 10th anniversary festival specifically stated in the final stage that do you want to continue FGO? And can we get the truth of that? Mr. Kano says, during that time, a lot of the user base thought what was going to happen to FGO next. And I've known that feeling, and I know that because of the development stage. Even in the FGO festival stadiums and parades and location, that angst feeling of uncomfortability was definitely surrounded, for sure. And I thought to myself, how should I alleviate that, or how should I deal with that? And I was thinking about that idea over and over and how I could solve that solution. How can I solve that problem with a solution? And while I was thinking about it while talking about the FGO news, I accidentally slipped those words. Yeah, I accidentally slipped those words out loud. I thought I messed up because I got way too emotional and became a user base and said unnecessary things to rile up the crowd, is what I've thought to myself. It says, to be perfectly honest, the words that you stated was the same words that Marisu has stated as well. I thought it was 1-to-1. 当時は懸命なセリフまでは知らなかったので完全な偶然ですね。So it says at that moment we didn't get the exact script for the words and the character says what. So it was 100%. It was 100% coincidence. いやでも本当に不要な発言でした。It says, however, the notion of asking that question was unnecessary. Right? So it's essentially Mr. 2 was specifically saying that he didn't know the exact lines. I was super coincidental. It was a very careless remark, right? The reason why he was accidentally slipped that careless remark was the stage was so exciting that his skin was shaking from the bottom of the heart, and the fact that the player base answered so loudly in a positive way definitely got me emotional. あの時点で FGO が終わらないことを加納さんは知っていたわけですね。そうですね。でもやっぱり終章を超えた後にユーザーさんの皆さんがどういう気持ちになるかは本当に分かっていなかった。自分はロードログレスが来ることもアフタータイムが来ることもしていたからこそ余計にそう思っていました。多分ナスさんがユーザーさんに対して感じてほしい終章への感情と私がディレクターとしてユーザーさんにあってほしい感情にある程度のギャップがあったと思います。もちろんナスさんを尊敬するべきだと思ってはいましたが尊重するべきではあったと思いましたがどうしても当時は何だった内札があってそれでつい出てしまった一言でした。So essentially, the interviewer says, at that very moment, you know that the player base and quote-unquote FGO was not going to end anytime soon. And then Mr. 2 specifically says that is correct. However, we really don't know how the user base would feel after they officially finished the final chapter and went over the final chapter. During that time, I already know that Lord Logless was coming and the after time was coming as well. So I felt like these words that I've accidentally stated and blurted out loud was a bit unnecessary. Compared to Mr. Nasu, what he wanted the user base to feel emotionally towards the final chapter versus how I wanted the user base to feel as a director might have had some gap in differences, in my honest opinion. And during that time, I really wanted to respect and understand Mr. Nasu's directions and his emotions and his what he wanted to accomplish. But during that time, I had internal conflict with myself and how I wanted to express it, and that was the accidental slip that I blurted out. Because because I'm pretty sure Nasu wanted to have feelings that's different than the director, because Nasu wanted that like emotional hard impact of Golin, while while I think Mr. Kano wanted to be like, hey, FGO's over, but it's not really over kind of deal, right? So like he accidentally blurted out something that was kind of like a dev emotion, more than what the story emotion needed to be. グランドサーバントが活用できる場所を作りたい。Okay, so we're moving on to the Grand Servant. So the next title is Want to create a place where a Grand Servant is utilized more often. 6月終焉にゲームエンジンを Unity 6へと移動しましたが、これによって実際どのくらい変わるのでしょうか。実はこれ Unity 6に変えたというより変えざるを得なかったのです。過去のバージョンはサポートが終了していくので確定時期に上げないといけなくなります。ただ行動には非常にコストがかかるのですよ。バージョンが変わるところでいろんなものも変わるので、10年分のデータを添え替えた上でさらに10年分のデータが非常に動くかチェックしなければいけない。それだけで気が遠くなりそうですね。切り替えのタイミングでは両方のバージョンでイベントを作らなければいけないため、開発中のデータ量もとんでもないことに。当時追加のストレージがたくさん必要になるような大仕事でした。この世代ではそれは辛い。ちなみに移動によってユーザー側で何か変わることはありますか。大きく変わるようなことはないと思います。メモリーの管理は改善されているので、一部の提携は動揺が良くなることはあるかもしれません。交渉が終わるまで大きな改善をしなくというお話でしたが、これからは大きく何か変わるようなことはあり得るのでしょう。管理となるシステムを変えるようなものは現状では考えておりません。ただ、徐々に改善を使えるなどとして新しい資料はいろいろと用意していくつもりです。So essentially, the title of this entire conversation will be a location where your Grand Servant will be placed. So the interviewer asked, I heard around mid-June, right? I heard about mid-June that the game engine was moving over to Unity 6. What sort of changes had to happen, or how moving to Unity 6 changed a lot of things? Mr. Kano specifically asked, by the way, it was not us wanting to change to Unity 6, is that we had to change to Unity 6. Because the past version, little by little, the supporting of it starts to get ended to it. And so as the version changes, we also have to change versions in order to keep supporting it. But moving engines cost significant amount. Moving costs cost significantly, unnecessarily, a lot. Every version, バージョン変わることでいろんなものが変わることで。So it says by changing versions, a lot of things changes and differ. So we needed to make sure that we have 10 years worth of data and move it on over on top of another 10 years data. By moving 10 years worth of data, We also had to make sure that the 10 years worth of data were all functionally properly without any problem. And then the interviewer specifically says, by just listening you say that definitely sounds like a tall task. 切り替えのタイミングでは両方のバージョンでイベントを作らなければならないため、開発のデータ量もとんでもないことに、大量のストレージがたくさん必要になること大仕事でした。It says during the swap over timing, we had to make both versions of the event of Unity 5 FGO event and Unity 6 FGO event of the same event. So when it came to development data amount, it came to a tremendous amount. It was quite the work that I don't want to remember. And then the interviewer specifically says, at a time like this, using a lot more additional storage is a problem. Is very difficult, right? Because they needed a lot more storage and functionality to work. So more RAMs, more storage. And it says at a time like this, that must have been very difficult. By the way, by moving, did the user feel any difference at one point, or what can the user expect in differentiality? Mr. 2, aka Mr. Kano, answers, there shouldn't be a major changes on the user's side. However, because the memory adjustments and the updates are being now more smoother, there might be some area in some places when farming or when updating data, there might be some user base having to feel more smoother transition in some loading phases. So essentially, because they've updated to the new Unity, you might feel more smooth, right? There might be a chance to get a smoother movement. 収集が終わるまでの大きな回収をしないというお話でしたが、これから大きく何か変わることはあるのでしょうか? It said you specifically stated that until the final chapter ended, you guys weren't going to modify or adjust or add additional features. But now that it has ended, are you going to change, or are you planning to get a lot of changes done in the meantime? It says overall, we're not thinking of changing, we're not having a major system change of whatsoever. However, we might be able to add more, modify more, and add additional materials and additional concepts. We're preparing for it. And so the interviewer goes, 聖杯戦にはついてどうでしょうか? 最終章が終わり、期待する声も多いですが。It says, what about the Holy Grails, right? What about Holy Grail? What about the Holy Grail War, Grail Front, right? What about the Holy Grail Front? Has any of that in notion, or is that even in the talks? Now that the final chapter is over, there's a lot of voices kind of excited for more possibility. So Mr. Kano specifically says, I'm sorry, at this very moment, there's nothing at plan. To be perfectly honest with you, I thought we would have more leeway. I thought we would have more leeway and open space after the final chapter ended. However, we're still in full throttle and we are moving as much as we can and as fast as we can still. It says, 私たち, including me and the development team, are all thinking, what's the meaning of this, while we are working hard in our daily time. So TLDR, Mr. Kano, now that the final chapter is over, we would have some leeway. It seems that is not the case at all. They thought that they could at least alleviate the pressure of them going full throttle. Nah, they're still going full throttle even after final chapter is over. But everybody's thinking to themselves, what the heck is going on here? But no Grail fronts at the moment. No Grail fronts for the future just moment. ご注察しております。It says, my condolences. My condolences, good friend. 敵 AI の、剣道は加納さんが作っていて、誰かに引き継ぎたいと去年もおっしゃっていましたが、そういったことでも、こともできないと。It says, I have the materials, I have the details, I have the backbones. It says, yeah, I have the materials, I have the details, I have all the explanation all down pat. In actuality, we never gotten to the phase where other people would work on it. If this were to continue at the very end, if we need / want to make another one, I probably have to do it myself again. あと気になるのはエイプリルフールですね。2026年、2026年と2016年のエイプリルフールを思わせる愉快な不具合でしたね。今回は終章を得たので原点回収しようと思って、その上でちょっとだけアップデートをすることで昔より楽しめるような、工夫しました。So he specifically says, what I wanted to talk about was the April Fools. The 2026 April Fools was a rerun, if not a updated version of 2016 April Fools. A yukai na fuguai, quote unquote, a little like oopsie, right? What's the word? A funny little glitch, right? The circumstances that occurred 2016, glitch happened again in 2026, oopsie doopsie. And so Mr. Kano answered, now that we finished the final chapter, I wanted to re-pick up the origin point even in the April Fools. And その上でちょっとだけアップデートすることで昔より楽しめるような工夫をしました。It says by updating it just a little bit more, we were able to upgrade, by updating it and upgrading it a little bit more, we were able to enjoy what we had back then even more. Because if you don't know, 2026, it was only in Saintcraft. In 2026, right, in 16 it was only Saintcraft. 26, we could even use it to fight. It was very cute. And then the interviewer asked CBC, Karudia Boys Collection, でも実装されていたフォトショーの機能ですね。It says that also, the interviewer says that also mentions the CBC, the photo booth, once more that came out this year. So, ではあるのですが、実はあの機能もともと CBC ではなくエイプリルフールに開発したものです。逆だったんですね。実はそうなんですよ。作ったものをタイムーンさんにお見せしたところ、これいいね。でも他でも使おうよとなりまして、今回エイプリルフールでは外部アプリではなく FGO 本体で作っていましたから、その部分だけ切り離して考慮しました。なるほど。今年の資材だからこそできたことなんですね。エイプリルフールはユーザーさんにも向けた一種のお祭りなので、必ずしも別アプリである必要ではないと思います。それこそ原点回収ならウェブブラウザの上で何かやってもいいですし、期待しています。加納さん自身、今後 FGO にやりたいことはありますか？Alright, so it says, what about the CBC picture photo function? Mr. 2 specifically says, by the way, that function was supposed to be used for April Fools and not CBC. And so the interviewer goes, oh, so it was the other way around. It says, yes, that was correct. That was the first intention. When we made it and showcased it to Mr. Type Moon answered, why don't we use it in other places as well? And then this time we made it so that the April Fool occurred not outside the application, but specifically inside FGO. And we made it inside of FGO, and these type of quick swaps were available when that happened. And we cut that picture part for April Fools and added to CBC. I gotta make sure that we're we're still in the we're still, you know, not DMCA, because holy moly, gotta make sure that the songs aren't DMCAing our butthole here. April Fool はユーザーさんにも向けた。It says, yeah. It says, and then the interviewer goes, I see. Because of this year's work and the focus that you've done, you were able to do swaps and things like this decently without hassle. It says, after all, Mr. Kano says, April Fool is a party, a festivity of sort for every user base in playing FGO. So we wanted to think we shouldn't always make a different app all the time, is what I think, and use it as a festivities that be celebrated in FGO in-game. それこそ原点回収ならウェブブラウザ上で何かやってもいいですし。It says if we want to go back in time and recollect from our origins, we might be even able to celebrate things through web browser style if we really wanted to. And then 期待してます。加納さん自身今後 FGO でやりたいことはありますか？ So so I'm gonna ping. So yeah, so it's Miss 加納よしきさん自身今後 FGO でやりたいことはありますか？グランドサーベントを生かすコンテンツはもっと作りたいですね。そもそもグランドサーベントシステム時期にもっと予定になかったもともと予定になかったものですだったのです。博士課地球へのコンテンツももっと増やそうと思って生まれたものでして、詳しくお聞かせてください。そもそも博士課地球って RPG で行ったところの船や気球などを手に入れたタイミングみたいなもんなのですよ。一気にマップの中に行けるエリアが広がっていろんな場所を巡ることで最終決戦を準備に備えるような。そこで次準備段階としてサーバントをさらに強化とマスターが待つ最終兵器としてのグランドサーバントを機能をグランドさせようという流れになったのです。自分の推しを強くできるいいサーベント、いいシステムでしたね。そんなグランドサーベントがもっと活用できる場所を作りたいと。多くの場面で活用はしてくれましたのだが、個人的にはもっとやれるのじゃないかと。なんならそういうコンテンツをたくさん作れなかったことはやり残しだと思いますね。So yeah, it says Mr. 2, what kind of content do you want to make and what you want to do in FGO, right? He said he wants to make multiple contents where Grand Servant is utilized a lot more. So he wants to make more content where Grand Servant's shenanigans. It says, by the way, the Grand Servant system itself was not in the works or planned in the very first place in the grand scheme of things. It was an idea that was added during the contents of the Bleached Earth, and we wanted to add more things to it, and that came to that conclusion. そもそも地球博士課って and then yeah, the interviewer says, please give me in detail. Mr. 2 specifically says, in Bleached Earth, it felt like an RPG. The timing of RPG when you were able to get ship, air balloons, anything that allows you to travel in a long distance range. It says you are able to travel the map in a large area and locations simultaneously in order to prepare for your final battle and adjust and maintain. そこで次の準備段階として and with that being said, we wanted a next step of the preparation to strengthen your servant even further. And we wanted to make it so that it's Master's final weapon. And that became the Grand Servant Complex and able to use that final weapon to fight against a Grand Servant. And that came to the conclusion of the Grand Battle and etc. It says, yeah, I think it's a great system that allows you to strengthen your Oshi, aka your favorite. そんなグランドサーバントがもっと活用できる場所を作りたいと。It says you're saying that you want to create more places where Grand Servant can be useful. 多くの場面で活用はしてくれましたが、個人的にもっとやられるんじゃないかと。It says there was a lot of places where we were able to use Grand Servants. However, in my mind, I think we can have more area where Grand Servant will be quite useful, in my honest opinion. なんならそういうコンテンツをたくさん作ればいいじゃないか。Then if that's the case, why don't we make more contents based off that? I believe that's one of the few, not regrets, but things that I have not done to be satisfied. So it's a sense he says, yari nokoshi. It's something that he wants to do, right? It's something that he like specifically regret that he was not able to make more of those type of contents during the season of FGO, part 2, but he was hoping to make more in the future. ではシステム内ではなくシナリオの演出ではどうでしょう。加納さんとしてやりたいことはありますか。現在できるかは分かりませんし、とんでもないコストと工作がかかっちゃうのですけど、立ち絵のパターンをもっと増やしてみたいですね。これまでも横を向いた絵が欲しいという思うタイミングが何度もありました。同じ方向を向いたり、対話面でも話し合ったり、表情が不遇からぐっと広がると思うんですよ。他の開発陣からは何を言ってやがると思われそうなことではあるのですが、それこそ魔法使いの夜みたいな演出を FGO で作られたらいいよなと思っています。口に出すのも感じてしまうぐらい遠い目標ではあるのですが。So it says, okay, now that we know what you wanted to do, what about not in system wise, but in scenario? What kind of scenario, animation motions, what do you want to do, Mr. 2, right? Mr. Kano, do you have anything you desire? It says, Mr. Kano answers, I don't know if I can really do this. I don't know if we can really pull this off, but because it's going to cost a lot of cost, right? It's got a lot of cost and motions and animations and workers, but I want to have more different patterns of standing up. The tachie, right? Like the idle. I want different patterns of idle motion. これまでも横を向いた絵が欲しいという思うタイミングが何度もありました。It says, I had many different times where I would like to have a portrait or a different side of pictures of certain things, certain characters, certain area during scenarios and etc. So essentially, like in scenario, instead of like looking at each other, there's more like pictures of conversation going on with the character PNG. That's what he's kind of talking about. 対面で語り合いする偶心はぐっと広がると思うんですよ。It says, yeah, there's some different timings for it and able to looking at each other, looking at different opposite of each other and not looking at each other. The emotional range would increase by many fold. It says that a lot of the development teams might look at me and say, what the hell is this guy saying? But I want more pictures and I want more variants that Maho Tsukai no Yoru, right, aka the Witch on the Holy Night, was able to pull off, and those animation that we've seen and witnessed. I want more FGO variants of that, is what I would wish for. 表現がぐっと広がる思うんです。他の開発員がないかと思われるそうですが、それこそ魔法使いの夜絡みな演出を。So he wants more Witch on the Holy Night animation slash PNG style gimmick in FGO, right? Like if you've read Witch on the Holy Night, one of the CG animation that they got is beautiful, right? And if you guys haven't seen it, the movie's coming out, so get ready. He wants more of that Witch on the Holy Night style of notion of animation and like showcasing it visually in FGO. 口に出すのも 苦労しく感じまうくらい遠い目標ではある。It says, however, stating this even out loud is a very far away, tall task, but it's something that I would like to do. Lol. Right? And then last but not least, this is the 11th anniversary, okay? The title is called the 11th anniversary and beyond, and going for the next quote-unquote blue sky. 11年周のタイミングで予定されている大きなアップデートの内容についてもお聞きされたいと思います。まずは全サーバントのモーション回収ですね。ようやく長い約束を終わらせることができました。ついに本当にお疲れ様です。あとは絆16話で上げられるようにとして HP アタックを3000までアップできるようにします。これに伴い新しいフォークンと夢火が変わります。それは大きいですね。夜に推しのサーバントを告げられる。これを実装のために新しいシステムとしてアズライールの開幕の追加されます。その中で地獄の試練という月替わりの最高度クエストがあり、それをクリアしていただくと新しいフォークンや夢火などが手に入れられます。ぜひとも訓練を乗り越えていただきたいなどと。運営側の無茶ぶりに終えなきゃいけないわけですね。アズライールが言うなら仕方もないですね。洋服の試練以上にも不要な素材を他の素材に交換できる天使のバザールが登場します。こちらは日語に変わりますので一旦確認しておきますと、あと袋僕の言っても特定のオーダー、デスティニーオーダー、ビーストオーダー、今回の袋、今回のユーザー、自分の部活と同じで引いても面白そうですね。10円に迎えても緊急指令を決めたりなんて、そうやってスケジュールがどんどん変わっていくのは必要ですから。まあ裏では悔しい顔もしているのですが、振り返ってみるとやってよかったなとかじゃないですね。一応いつ運命の3名が終わりかが決まってはいるのですが、これもどこまで予想通りに進むか分かりません。当然倍ぐらいにはなるかもしれませんね。本当に今現在ちょっとずつその青い空が遠ざかっているような感じ感もあるのですが、終章が終わった時のように皆さんと青い空が見れるまで走り続けようと思います。またこの旅にお付き合いいただけると幸いです。Really? Doesn't say much. But yeah, FGO is continuing for a bit, so at the 11th anniversary timing, can you guys tell me what you guys are planning? What you guys are thinking? What kind of big updates are you going for? First and foremost, we were finally able to get every single servant's animation motion modified and if not updated. So officially, I believe every single servant has been updated. So it means that every servant has now been touched, aka not buffed, not upgraded, but at least every servant has been touched to be modified. So essentially, they got updated. Every servant got updated in motion, at least. So it says finally. The interviewer says finally. It says yeah, finally, congratulations. And then Mr. Kano specifically says, simultaneously, we now have a new system that allows you to go to Bond 16. We now can upgrade your attack and HP to 3k. We got a new Fokun and Dream Flare. And the interviewer goes, that's big. It says, now that you can pour it back to your favorite servants once more. In order to make that to happen, we have a new system called the Challenge of the Hell of Azrairu. Inside of that, there's going to be a trial of hell that's going to be happening. Doesn't change. It says, yeah, the trial of hell that's going to change every month, and it's a challenge quest. And by clearing certain scenarios, you'll be able to obtain new Fokuns and Dream Flare. Please do your very best to overcome the challenges and enjoy while at it. It says simultaneously you have to once again it says yeah now yet once again you have to be forced to do what unreasonable demands from the management advisor. If you don't know, that's Azriel, right? Azriel is the management advisor. So Mr. Two goes, lol. I mean, Azrael said so we kind of have to do it, right? But, you know, managerial department, you know, Mr. Two's manager had told you to do this, so you got to do it. It's a FGO meta joke, right? You get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. アザイルで言うなら仕方ないですね。地獄試練以外にも不減な素材を他に it says, yeah, besides the trial of the hell, there's multiple places. It's called the Angel's Bazaar, where you can trade in for unnecessary mats you have for the possible mats that you need or want. This does change daily, so please check out the shop whenever you can. Simultaneously, let's talk about the GSSR. And I heard, yeah, there's different things that you have for this GSSR. It's not really the GSSR that's different. That's actually the Destiny order. There's a Beast order now. It's specifically a Destiny order that you can choose one beast for guarantee for a set amount of Sancor. It says, yeah, Azrael is coming for the 11th anniversary, so make sure you guys have him and Beast together, and it would be great. It says this year's GSSR was ordered in a club of school festivities. What sort of other different allocations and grouping were you think of doing? 今までは実際年で分分けするケースが多かったのですが、今回はちょっと違うケースで一緒にしました。It says, yeah, most of the time we would distribute it by the years that they were, you know, they were in. That was a lot of the cases. However, this year we changed it up and added new criteria. 毎年袋袋の種類が多くなりすぎたので、ある程度に対象を絞りつつ、it says, yeah, every year the GSSR bag and yeah, GSS bag and type gets larger and larger. So we did our very best to compress the amount of servants and to compress the amount of clubs or topics at hand. And this year we chosen to go for the school activity festival theme and added it. And I hope the people would enjoy the festivity. 現在のユーザー戦なら自分の部活と同じものを引いても面白いですね。And then the interviewer says, a student that's currently playing FGO user might pick the own club that they're in as their GSSR for fun. That would be funny and great. あとは FGO フェスをゲーム内で実感できるように重要な展開しました。会場へ直接来られない方にも何も楽しんでいけばかなと。Because simultaneously on top of this fun festivities, we've also added in FGO game a game festival stadium or area that you can enjoy yourself in. It's kind of a way of saying that you might not have been able to get there in IRL, but you can also enjoy the festivities in that location together as one kind of deal. 開発は会議中にその他の周年施設の話をしているときに那須さんからじゃあ実際のフェスマップを使ってはと言われて特産決まりました。It says during the conversation of this entire festivities gimmick, while we were talking about locations and areas of where we could use it as a festival gimmick, Mr. Nasu specifically stated, why don't we just use the actual festival map and use that map as an FGO anniversary gimmick? And then we instantly came with an idea and solidified. まだ実際できるかどうかドキドキの段階ですが、このインタビューが伝える頃には楽しんでいただけるはずです。It says at this very moment, it's still in progress and we're still in hassle to make this happen. But by the time this interview is out and about, I hope you guys are all enjoying it to your heart's content. And then I ain't gonna lie, that's just gonna get me a headache. It says it says 11th anniversary has come about. 結構新しいことが決まったりするのですね。It says even 11th anniversary gets announced, a lot of things gets made right off the bat and new things get slided in, doesn't it? And so the last topic that the interviewer specifically states here is even after celebrating your anniversary, new things are being decided so suddenly at the last minute. And then Mr. Kano says, yes, scheduling changes every time, everywhere is a FGO thing. It says in the closed doors, there's some people that would make a face that would be making the face of suffering because things are changing 24/7 to an extent. But it's one of those things that if you look back, it has always happened, and it's one of those things that in the end we are glad that we were able to change it on the spot because the result speaks for itself. It says, by the way, we've already know when around the 3 goddess arc would end, but as always, we don't know how long or what unpredictable shenanigans could happen going forward. And then the interviewer specifically asks, 当然倍くらいになるかもしれませんね. It says, obviously, it's going to be twice as much as you all have anticipated. Lol, right? He's joking around because they were planning on it was going to be season 2 was going to end in like 4 years. It became 8 years, and then Mr. 2 was joking around that like the season 3 is going to take 8 years. So season 2 took 8 years, so it's going to double that. So it's going to take 16 years. And so that's the joke that came back to the very end. It says maybe this arc will be double the time amount, and Mr. 2 is like, you might be right, but however. By you just mentioning that right now, little by little, the new blue sky has stepped away a couple more steps, in my honest opinion. Lol, right? But however, just like we were able to experience the blue skies after the end of the final chapter, I sincerely wish to experience the blue sky once more with all the user base, and hope you guys enjoy this journey forward, and I hope you guys continue to support this game. So that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes Mr. 2's event. He's very, talking about it overall. TLDR, he loved it. He, had emotional feelings during the anniversary at the December 31st. He was able to finish December 31st. And then he felt, emotional. Went to the train station, felt the emotion. We all felt the emotion, and then they had a whole picture booth to it, talking about the final chapter, yada yada yada. I'm not going to talk about the final chapter because spoilers. And then he wants to make more gimmick for grand servants, or a place where grand servants can be utilized more. He was thinking of making more web-based browser for April, if not more in-game gimmick for April Fools within these next few years. And then what if Mr. 2 wants more facial expressions and body movement gesture patterns like Witch on the Holy Night. He specifically stated that he was able to update all the animation update for all the servants. So like every servant that has been needed animation update from year 1 has been updated. Talking about the new gimmick, talking about the new Ezreal system. No summer hints here and there, probably in the Takeuchi Nasu interview, which I'll do tomorrow because I have to go to work now. And then talked about GSSR, talked about the Beast Order, and last but not least, I specifically stated that schedule-wise, he knows when the three goddesses fate arc is going to end, but they joked around that FGO is an unpredictable scheduling, so something might happen that could push it further, more, etc., etc. As he joked, he hopes that you guys keep enjoying FGO and continue the journey and have fun while at it. Okay, so like I said, that concludes FGO. Mr. 2. Right, Mr. 2, aka Mr. Kano's interview. I will be live translating Mr. Kinoko and Takeuchi's interview tomorrow, just due to the fact that, like I've stated before, I gotta go. I gotta go to work now to get my schedule fixed because, my work's kind of a butt. So thank you guys so much for coming. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. What did you think about the interview? How did you like the interview? Ask me in the comment section below and I will answer it. I will see you all tomorrow for the Takeuchi Nasu interview if you guys want to hear it live. By then, the tryhards of Reddit and people that, auto translates whatever would already got it. But, we do we do live translations and live discussion here in Two Love Trouble. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Oh my God. That's a lot. Yeah, we got, so that was 6 pages. We got about 8 pages for Takeuchi and Nasu. So I hope you guys get ready for the shenanigans to come, all right? From the quick glance at it, I think we're going to talk about... we got, yeah, the last page they talk about is summer. And then you guys are going to be happy. Oh, are they talking about logless? So yeah, they talk about swimsuit, they talk about logless, they talk about... Oh yeah, they talk about logless, they talk about swimsuit, they talk about grand servants and their noble phantasms. They talk about FGO, After Time, saying that After Time is a fan disc for FGO. Elizabeth についてあげたい作品。They talk about Elizabeth. They talk about the first scene and last scene. It says the reason why the last battle's worrisome disappeared because the song Gyakko existed. Wanted an enjoyable finale of last battle. And looking back 8 years of FGO Season 2 journey, the road they took. Alright, I'm out of here. That's the topic that we're going to be discussing tomorrow. TTFN, ta-ta for now.